So as a nurse practitioner, there are so many things that you have to be aware of when it comes on to working as an independent, contractor when you're working in house calls. Because since I've started working in house calls, there are so many things that, it's just scary. And I've always been the kind of person that is making sure that when it comes on to my license, now I have an NPI, a DEA, it is used appropriately. It's still being used appropriately. Because especially when it comes on to the host call services where, you are working independently a lot of times and you're not seeing certain things that are being done behind this, behind the scenes when it comes on to your patient, you have to be very careful. And so one thing I would recommend for persons to do is always get comprehensive reconciliation done of your NPI, what is billed under your NPI. Because at the end of the day, it's not all about, the money, or it's not all about what is being billed. You want to make sure that you are aware of what they are billing under your NPI. What is it that you're rendering services for? So today, when it comes on to the chronic care management, today I dig so deep into it to get a better understanding, because I feel as though some practices are a little bit confused as to how chronic care management is operated versus a regular visit for the patient. And so even though you might go in and see the patients on a monthly basis, it doesn't, that visit, that face-to-face contact is not considered to be chronic care management visit. It is a totally different encounter where it is like, it's not a face-to-face encounter. It's anything that is done outside of your regular visit that is considered to be the chronic care management. So you come up with a care plan, and then you have additional staff in office that are doing certain things, medication reconciliation, doing the referrals, getting the labs, follow up with. So those are the things, anything that they have to do outside of what your visit entails on a monthly basis, that is what it is. And then you will go through and look at everything. You look at the care plan that you have generated, and just make sure that you're meeting the goals. So for example, you have a diabetic patient who, you definitely want to have quarterly A1C check. You're talking about their diet, exercise, how much weight they have lost or gained. You look at hospitalizations, over the last couple of days or since the last time you saw them. All of that is accumulated in that one encounter to be your chronic care, and you focus on it and you try to meet your goals as it relates to it. So that is something that you spend doing outside of your face-to-face encounter. But the problem is that sometimes you have some practices that are thinking that your face-to-face encounter, because sometimes you have orders being done, you send out the orders to somebody in the lab, they consider that part of your face-to-face to be chronic care management, but really and truly it's not. So you get billed for your face-to-face, and then you can also bill for the chronic care management. And if you are taking on that responsibility, it's not only, you're providing a professional service. So you're taking the risk by conducting that kind of service, the chronic care management. So really and truly, you need to be compensated. A lot of times you might find that companies are wanting to say that, oh, you're already doing this for, for the patient, and we're already paying you for that face-to-face. And so that money for the chronic care management is that they want it to be a case where it's the overhead expenses or expenses for other things in the practice. Really and truly, it's not like that. As an independent provider, you're providing a service, and you want to make sure that whatever it is that you're rendering your services for, you're getting paid for it, because you're providing a professional service. And so today I had a long conversation, trying to understand and explain how I understood it. You have to have your consent, and the consent must specifically say that the patient consent to chronic care management. Explain to them, and once they're okay with it, then they sign to it. So even though, yes, you might go in and see a patient every month and you're dealing with their diabetes, their hypertension and everything, not all patients, despite meeting the requirements, consent to chronic care management. It's like you're taking a subject in mathematics and taking a subject in English. 2 different courses, 2 different encounter, 2 different bill. So you want to ensure that if you are working as a nurse practitioner, if you're working as an independent nurse practitioner doing house call services, You want to find out whether or not your fixed rate is inclusive of chronic care management or it's exclusive. Because if you're going to be taking on that additional role, which sometimes you might not be aware, you might just come up on a piece of paper and it said that you were assigned or you created a care plan. You want to just kind of ask the question, are you the person that is providing, managing, are you the person that is the owner of that care plan? So you can know how to go about and ask for compensation. Because it does make sense, you have companies sending off, things with your NPI saying that you're doing it and you're not aware of it, because at the end of the day, it's going to be a case where when they're auditing you, the company not going to back you up because your electronic signature is on it, and not only that, your NPI is on it. So you want to make sure that you're reading carefully about contracts that we're going in and make sure that it's very clear and it is specific to what you are rendering services for, or the patient that you're rendering services for, and not accepting contracts that are saying every encounter or whatever is done in the office is going to be billed to your NPI. No, don't let it be that. Make sure you have clear explanation as to how you want your NPI to be used when it comes on to documentation. Make sure you sign off on that and everybody is of the understanding, because anything that your NPI is attached to, you are responsible for it. You are legally responsible for it. So don't let it be a case where you're missing out on your CCMs. Make sure you're claiming, you try to get more money for that because you're putting in the work. It's an extra 20 minutes or 40 minutes you'll be spending going through certain things, overseeing that chronic care management as a provider. Some practices will they will auto assign you. You don't want to be set to auto assign, because if they auto assign you, it means that they're assigning you to be manager or owner of that care plan. And even if you don't render service to that patient, you are the manager of that. So you don't want that where the system is auto-assigning you to those care plans. You want it to be a case where whichever patient you see per month, those are the ones that if you are willing to do chronic care management and take on that extra role and responsibility, then you will go ahead and see those patients. But not every patient that passes through the office you are responsible for. So I'm still in negotiation, or I'm still talking regarding it, because as I say, when it comes down to my NPI, I protect it with my life, because I work so hard to go back to school. I know it's my head tough. Yes, I know it's my head tough, but I work really hard to get to where I'm at right now. And I don't want it to be a case where there are certain things that are going on with the workflow in different institutions where I'm not aware of what is being done with my NPI or with my license. Because at the end of the day, yes, companies will be making money and nothing is wrong with that, but at the same time I still need to know that my license is safe. Because if there's an audit later on, it's going to be a case where my name depends on it and my NPI on it. So I want to make sure that I am aware of everything that is going on. It means that you're going to be drafting up your own little, contract as to how you want your NPI to be used. Go ahead and send it over. But at the end of the day, yes, we want the money, but protecting your license is the most important thing, because without your license, you don't have a job. You don't have nothing at all, because that is your livelihood. That is your main source for income. Go ahead and share in your comment box below what you think about it, if I did the right thing. I feel as though I did the right thing because I feel my license and me alone work for it. So I have to speak up regarding it. Until then, I will see you. But go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. All right.